Hello, welcome to our next video. Today we're gonna talk about static rook versus static rook, simply called double static rook. We're gonna cover what kind of castles you can make in that opening. And there are three main different castles that we're gonna talk about. One which will be Yagura type, the other will be castles for side pawn picker opening, and castles for bishop exchange opening. So let's jump right into it. So usually double static rook will mean both of the sides will be attacking from this side. An example opening would be something like this. And what you should remember, if you're going for Yagura, you will move all your generals diagonally. And if you manage to arrive at this position, this is our first castle, which is called crab castle, because the king either walks low like a crab or it has two claws. If we were to continue from here, again moving our pieces diagonally, we'll arrive at the Yagura castle. It will look something like this. Of course, you can see that we have to move the bishop out first so that the king can march into the castle. So this is the basic Yagura. Now let's look at its variations. We have silver Yagura, which changed is this general. It was gold before. Now it's a silver. Of course, it means it's a little bit weaker. Yagura is seen more often. Now, depending on what the opening is, what your opponent intentions are, we will have Yaguras like Kikusui Yagura, where you will jump the knight here and hide the king underneath it. We'll have Hishi Yagura with this silver coming from here, a little bit elevator, taking this vanguard pawn on the 6th file. We also have something like this called half Yagura. It is also called Fuji Yagura from the famous Fuji Sota. I used to think that this castle is good against bishop exchange because it has more control over the center. Then we have a little bit awkward looking perhaps Doi Yagura, surprisingly working well in some situations. Then we have Nagare Yagura, which concentrates on the fact that the enemy is attacking us on the 4th file. We don't want to march our king to the main diagonal, we're simply waiting for the enemy attack and defending. Notice that we're keeping our bishop line open. And what would be shogi if it didn't have Anaguma? There is also Yagura Anaguma version, something like this. You have to be careful though, Yagura might be a little bit weaker from the front, so it's also a rare case type of use scenario. So those are the Yagura castles, and what you should know that Yagura has been, if not one of the first shogi openings ever played, but it evolved through many years, and people tend to play more rapid shogi nowadays. And this idea of castling the king securely in a fortress, it's kind of disappearing. So we came back to a shape called Gangi, which is snow roof in English. It looks something like this. As you can see, once more the king avoids walking into the main diagonal. The bishop stays on the big diagonal, which means it has a little bit more playability, unlike when we put it on this diagonal. It requires a little bit maneuver and de facto time wasted, right? So this shape was revised and is played nowadays a lot. If we talk about old style Gangi, it would be something like this, more solid, more concentrated on the defending of this file. This one is more, as you can see, spread out, keeping the balance among all the sides. Sometimes this pawn is here and this silver is used in the attack through the center. Now, of course, what would be modern shogi if we didn't have the same variation of the castle with right side king? We also have that Gangi right side king style. Now, as I said, shogi game will become faster and faster, so as people started playing Gangi, this one, the other side decided, how about I barely castle my king into left side Mino? Sure, I will allow you to attack here. And I just use my silver to attack your Gangi quickly, or your castle quickly. And left side Mino, even though technically its weakness is from the front, by not casting all the way, sometimes here, we managed to speed up our middle game, therefore making it an even fight. Quite difficult to explain, but that's what's happening in the shogi world. Now, in some games we can evolve into silver crown, As we said, it is a little bit more strong from the front, so sometimes it happens as well. Now, similar to this left side mino, a little bit different looking, we have the kin muso. The idea is that if bishop is exchanged, we have the silver ready to retake it. So yeah, this shape exists as well. So now we will walk into more side pawn picker openings. Side pawn picker opening is characterized by a very short opening and very short as well middle game or inexisting middle game entering the end game quickly. It is characterized by rook being exchanged, and therefore our castle cannot be solid. It has to be spread out, defending both sides of our board equally. So we have castles like this. Central house, the king is living in the center. We have many variations of it. Maybe this silver can be here, this gold can be here, this gold can be here, silver could have one here. There are some alterations you can make to this castle. We also have Nakahara's king, looking something like this. It is a little weird because the gold went to this side, the silver goes up. Usually there's a rook protecting here, so it's pretty balanced. There's also a variation of this castle where the king is in the center. So that would be some of the side pawn picker castles. So now we will talk about another static rook opening, which is double wing attack. And the most popular castle will be the strawberry castle. And there are some variations, like this gold will be somewhere else. The bishop exchange may happen, and this castle may evolve again. Similar to this, but also a different opening, is the bishop exchange. As the name suggests, we do have to protect our camp against bishop drops. We have helmet castle. You see, if the bishop is taken, the silver going here is a natural position for the silver. And this gold, come close to the king, trying to protect it. Sometimes king will enter here, but more modern shape of the same idea would be this, where this gold isn't as close to the king as before. Sometimes it's even on this square, making de facto sure that this square is protected. The main reason is that nowadays we like to use the knights very early in the game, so we want to have it covered. There are some other reasons for that, but I'm gonna leave it here. The king also will sometimes stay here, sometimes go here, sometimes castle. This silver can be used in the defense, creating that silver Yagura that we saw before. The modern bishop exchange is very difficult. I cannot explain it in few words, but this shape of gold to 4-8 and rook to 2-9 is a good shape to remember if you're interested in playing that opening in the future. There isn't actually many English materials explaining this yet. Hopefully we're gonna get there eventually. So of course, yes, we do have a bishop exchange right side king variation. Compared to Gangi, right side king, the silver is here rather than on this square. And now I would just like to show you two funny castle called Duck's Legs or Duck Castle. If you play on application called Shogi Wars, you may see many people play this castle. It's kind of funny, yeah, those two generals look like duck legs. And the bishop is here, even though usually it's weak against the lance, there is the rook protecting its head. So it's not as obvious to break as you would think. And then I want you to understand that in modern shogi, because we're trying to speed up, especially in double static rook, there are sometimes cases where your king will be sitting in the middle of the board. It's called sitting king, igyoku in Japanese. And you can curse your opponent for, oh, he didn't castle, but it is been accepted that sometimes it's better to keep the king in the middle and speed up your attack, yeah? Especially in this opening, we really start with the knight activation. This is something you will have to deal with in modern bishop exchange openings, yeah? So that's all for this video. In the next one, I'm gonna cover double swinging rook castles. There are not many, some of which the shapes of those castles you may have seen in today's or previous videos. That's because vertical shogi is alike. And this will conclude our castle chapter for all the possible strategies. So you will be really prepared for all the possibilities. I will see you then. Bye bye.